wish I knew in 5th grade, so hopefully you can make better choices than I did, because I might have gotten to where I am today a lot easier had I followed some of these rules. Let's start with this. Can we turn the lights down just a little bit? Let's turn them okay. Okay. Okay, so are there detectives in this classroom?
No.
Does anybody know what this is?
A light bulb.
A snake? And I heard another thing?
A light bulb.
Right. Now how is it that you were able to figure that out? Well, this is what I do every day. Sometimes babies come into the hospital with a tummy ache. And guess what? Sometimes babies eat things they shouldn't eat. I've seen all sorts of things. I've seen babies who come in with batteries and coins in their stomach, and sometimes we have to go inside with a little tube to pull these things out. So this is the simplest tool that I use as a radiologist to figure out why someone's not feeling well. This is called an X-ray, and if we didn't have the X-ray, we wouldn't be able to tell that this snake has eaten a couple of light bulbs. Okay, yes. Do you have a question? Go ahead.
Did you do that? Did you actually do that, or was that just a picture?
That was done at a veterinary hospital. And so that snake was actually had died because it had ingested a couple of the light bulbs.
I was about to say, why do you guys do an X-ray?
No, we wouldn't do that. We wouldn't do that. Okay. So I think one of the things is that it's really, really important for all of us to strive to be better. A lot of times, many of us are happy or content where we are, but we know that there's more inside of us. I think it's really, really important that all of us should try to become better students, better brothers and sisters, better citizens, helping others and helping our friends. Oftentimes we forget to do this, and this is so important. Many times we don't challenge ourselves. I think that we're scared to do things. I'm not a good teacher like Mr. Nowakowski's a good teacher. It's not easy for me to come up here and stand in front of you folks, but I do this because this is a challenge for me, and it makes me a better person. I encourage all of you to do that sometimes, to try to challenge yourself and to do things you think you might not be able to do, because you'll make yourself a better person, and you can become a role model for someone else, so that other people can look up to you. You've got to step outside what I call your comfort zone. A lot of times, we may not want to do something because it frightens us. For instance, what I'm doing right here, being a public speaker. It's not something that I naturally do, but I do it because I want to help you. I want your life to be better, and I'm going to try to give you some of these tools that I think are important for you. So sometimes we may not be a good basketball player, we may not be a good singer, a good dancer, but I encourage all of you to try these things because it'll make you a stronger and a better, well-rounded individual. I want you to focus on being unique. My story is, when I was born in another country. I was born in an island called Cuba, just south of Florida. My mom and dad did not speak any English. When I came to this country, I didn't speak a word of English. And it was very, very hard for me. Many people made fun of my mom and dad because they couldn't speak English, and they made fun of me because I didn't speak good English. And people used to make fun of me all the time, and it was very, very hard on me. As a matter of fact, it was so hard on me that I didn't want people to talk to me, and I used to be very, very shy. And it was very, very difficult. And as a matter of fact, I didn't want people to know that I was Hispanic, because I wanted to be just like everybody else. I didn't want to be my own person, and that's so hard to do, and I think it's so important to do. You know, sometimes I look back at my life, and it seems like I've spent so many years of my life trying to fit in to be exactly like everybody else, and then when I got older, I spent all those years trying to be my own person. So I think it takes courage to be your own unique person, and that's one of those gifts that we all have, and I think that I encourage each and every one of you to try to do that as opposed to just being like everybody else and being popular. I think it is very, very important that all of you not have the mentality of that you have been given so few things, that your life is so miserable compared to others. Life is much, much more than about that. I think it is so important for you to have the right attitude. Many times we may have things at home that are not the best. We may have a parent who doesn't have a job. We may have a grandfather that's sick. We may have all sorts of things that are not ideal for us. And we can sit there and we can just say, how unfortunate am I? Why can't I be like my friend Bobby or my friend Lee? You know, why can't we have a new car? Why can't we travel more? Why is it that my mother's sick? I think what's important is whatever situation you are, the most important thing is how you handle that situation. I remember when I was growing up, my mom and dad were very, very poor. They eventually both became teachers when they learned to speak the English language, and we didn't have many things at home, but I was very, very happy because I was in a good situation with two parents that cared for me and wanted me to be the best that I could be. Just another slide to show that sometimes we feel that life isn't fair, and you know what? That's true. Some things happen to us sometimes that we can't control. They're beyond our control. There's a sickness in the family. There's someone doesn't live up to your expectations. A friend lets you down. There are all sorts of things that happen all the time. And we have to realize that life isn't fair. It's how we respond to these things, how we respond to what I call adversity when we're down, that makes us a stronger and a better person. So I encourage all of you not to be a quitter, not to better yourself and to better where you are in your life. And I think one of the key components I want to tell you is that education is the key. If you take your schoolwork seriously, then all sorts of opportunities will present themselves to you. Now, when I was a 5th grader, I grew up in Indiana. And there was only one thing I wanted to do, and the furthest thing from my mind was that I wanted to be a doctor. I loved basketball. In the state of Indiana, everybody plays basketball. And you know what? I was sure that I was going to play in the NBA. Wasn't anything else I wanted to do. So if I was going to play in the NBA, why did I need to study? Well, guess what? I never made it in the NBA. As a matter of fact, I never even made it on my high school basketball team. But I think it's important for all of you to know the statistics. I think many of us, we have dreams, and it's good to dream and to reach for the stars. But we need to be realistic. So what I want to share with you is how hard it is for one person to play in the NBA. And this could be the NBA, or this could be the NFL, it could be anything. But in the whole wide, wide world, there are probably 6 to 7 billion people. Now, every year in the NBA, in the draft, from all the players in the world, they pick 60 people to play in the National Basketball League. Now, I don't know if there are any NBA players here, but we're talking 60 people out of 6 billion people in the world. So I'm not discouraging you from playing basketball, but what I am saying is you need to have realistic goals, and you need to have a backup plan. And the best backup plan in the world is to have a good education, because nobody can ever take that from you. And if you have a good education, you can do anything. You can be a doctor, you can be a lawyer, you can be an architect, you can be a painter, and you will be passionate about what you do. And so that's what's so important. I think one of the best things that happened to me was actually that I turned, rather than being an NBA athlete, I was an average athlete. And by being an average athlete, I had to work really, really hard to play on my basketball team. And so that gave me a great opportunity to understand the value of teamwork and the value of hard work. And I think if I had been a very gifted athlete, what would have happened is that I might have taken that for granted. So I think sometimes, like I said, the attitude is the most important thing. If you're not good at math and you get an A on your math test, then you're a winner. You're a winner. You don't have to come in first place to be a winner. You have to do your personal best. And that's what makes you the best. That's what makes you proud to be who you are, how you're so unique, and that's what gives your friends and your family that sense of well-being about yourself, that sense of pride. Now, anybody here want to be a millionaire? Okay, all right. Well, that's, wow, the hands just keep going up. So everybody wants to make a lot of money. Okay, well, I don't have a problem with that. Now, money can't buy you happiness. I think you've heard that. But if you have enough money, that can help, right? You don't want to have to worry all the time about where your next meal's coming from or if you don't have a job. Well, I can tell you how you can become a millionaire. Well, the easiest thing to become a millionaire is right here. The value of education. Now, the statistics, and this has been shown by people in economics, is that if you graduate from college, you will make $25,000 more per year than a person who does not go to college. So, if you work for 40 years, which is what most people do, you will be a millionaire, guaranteed. If you follow these statistics and you go to college, it's like having an extra $1 million in your pocket. So I think what all of you need to understand, and I'm not saying that everybody needs to go to college, but you need to put yourself in the position where it's your decision whether you go to college or not. And by going to college, it opens up all sorts of opportunities. Not only opportunities to make more money, but more career opportunities, where you're in control of your own destiny. There you go. That's pretty easy, right? I gave you good financial advice today. I think one of the most important things in my life was making the right friends. Your friends can lift you or they can bring you down. And you know what? It's your choice. You can choose boys and girls who are going places, who are honest, who are your friends, or you can choose friends that are going to drag you down. People who don't value education, people who aren't honest, people who really aren't your friends. You can do that, and I used to do that when I was in elementary school sometimes. The most important thing for me was to be popular. I wanted to be just like everybody else. I wanted to be at the top of the food chain. And sometimes I did some really mean things. And I surrounded myself with mean people that were bringing me down. And they were making me worse. So I think it's so important to find the right friends, people who support you, people who trust you, people you can trust, people who are going to make you better than you thought you could possibly be. It's so important to have the right friends, and it's not easy sometimes to pick the right friends. I think if you pick the right friends, they'll be there for you when you need them, and sometimes when you don't need them. They will be there to support you. When you try something, when you challenge yourself and you fail, your friends, your family will be there. If you choose the wrong friends, they will not be there. You need to have the confidence that you yourself, your life, your destiny is in your hands. It's in no one else's hands. They may tell you that, but it comes at a price, and that price is hard work. You can't become a doctor without hard work. I can't tell you that. There's no easy road. You can't become a millionaire without